Please put our palms together. Homage to our fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Homage to our fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Homage to our fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Hello, everyone. Today we will discuss the Pure Conduct chapter. The chapter may seem simple, but in reality, it is quite challenging to put into practice. Today we will look at the Pure Conduct chapter from 3 different perspectives. Let's start by examining the order of the Pure Conduct chapter in the Avatamsaka Sutra. To get a better picture, we can visit the DRBA Chinese website, where we'll find detailed outlines of the locations and assemblies associated with every chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. When we mention locations assemblies, we're referring to the 7 places where Shakyamuni Buddha compassionately taught the Avatamsaka Sutra to sentient beings in a total of 9 Dharma assemblies. He also explained the 5 phases of cause and effect in 4 parts. First, the cause and effect in faith. The second is the cause and effect in distinction. The third is the cause and effect in equality. The fourth is the cause and effect in practice. And the fifth is the cause and effect in certification and realization. The level of awakening achieved on the ground of effects is the result of the depth of our bodhi resolve on the causal ground, as well as the efforts that we put in cultivating the body, mouth, and mind. Cause and effect in distinction covers 52 stages of the Bodhisattva practice, such as the 10 faiths, the 10 abodes, 10 practices, 10 dedications, 10 grounds, equal enlightenment, and wonderful enlightenment. The Pure Conduct chapter is located at the stage of 10 faiths and is included in the Dharma door of 10 faiths. We can see that the 5 phases of cause and effect span through the entire 80 rules of the Avatamsaka Sutra. The Avatamsaka Sutra is mystical, but it ultimately centers around the concept of cause and effect. We are all familiar with the concepts of faith, practice, and certification. And it must be supported by understanding, practice, and certification. The 10th Dharma door consists of chapters, with 3 chapters being The chapter can be divided into 2 parts. In the first half, leader and wisdom Bodhisattva inquires about retributions, seeking guidance from Manjushri Bodhisattva on behalf of all living beings on how to attain various extraordinary retributions. These questions from the leader and wisdom Bodhisattva truly open our eyes. The Pure Conduct chapter uses rhetorical questions to illustrate the amazing rewards of Bodhisattva's practice, which thus far exceed our limited knowledge and imagination as sentient beings. In the latter half, Manjushri Bodhisattva presented a response to these questions raised by the leader in wisdom, Bodhisattva. Manjushri Bodhisattva replied in 141 verses, each containing a vow. These vows explain the causes and ways to cultivate them, leading to the desired attainment of these rewards. These familiar verses that we often encounter are, in taking refuge with the Dharma, I vow that sentient beings will deeply enter the sutra treasury and have the wisdom like the sea. When sitting upright and proper, I vow that sentient beings will sit on the Bodhi seat with no attachments in their mind. As I use water to wash my hands, I vow that sentient beings will have clean hands to receive and uphold the Buddha Dharma. At the beginning, leader in wisdom Bodhisattva asks, how can a Bodhisattva achieve impeccable purity in body, speech, and mind? How do I practice in order to achieve purity in all three karmas? So next, we will discuss this chapter using the outlines established by the patriarchs. The Pure Conduct chapter first lists the rewards and then explains their causes. In this chapter, leader in wisdom Bodhisattva asks about the rewards of pure conduct, which are encapsulated in 10 paragraphs of questions beginning with how does. They encompass 5 kinds of retribution: ripening retribution, functional retribution, dependent retribution, corresponding retribution, and liberal retribution. According to the Avatamsaka Sutra, the Buddha observed that everything is inseparable from the 6 causes, the 4 conditions, and the 5 retributions. So today, it would be beneficial to familiarize ourselves with these 5 types of retribution when we study these 10 paragraphs of how does. First is the ripening retribution. It refers to the karmic results that mature or come to fruition in a life subsequent to the one in which the actions were performed. That implies that retribution takes time to develop. It is not immediately visible. There is a period of progression from the cause to the retribution. And the timing, type, and nature of the retribution will change and differ. Let's look at the growth of a seed into a big tree to gain a more concrete understanding of the concept of ripening retribution. So we can take an example. Take ripening retribution of bad karma as an example. After we have committed offenses, such as killing, stealing, or engaging in sexual misconduct in this life, we may not see any apparent consequences immediately. But as time goes by, the causes and conditions will ripen. We will be led by our karma and be reborn in the evil, wretched realms or destinies, such as the hells, hungry ghosts, animals, and asuras. And our environment and appearance will undergo huge transformations. Conversely, after we have persistently performed good deeds, such as giving, upholding precepts, and exercising patience in this life, we may not see any immediate results yet. Hence, we usually hear the saying, good people do not receive good retribution. However, after some time, the karma from these good deeds will ripen, and we will be led by our wholesome deeds to be reborn in the human realm or the heavenly realm, where we will be blessed with all kinds of happiness and favorable rewards. Our surroundings and appearance will undergo big transformation in a positive way. So, what kind of ripening retributions will 10th faith Bodhisattva receive through the cultivation of his mind, the making of these 141 Bodhisattva vows, and the practice of the Pure Conduct chapter? Let's read the sutra text. How does he attain an ideal place of birth, an ideal lineage, an ideal family, a perfect appearance, perfect hallmarks, perfect mindfulness, perfect wisdom, perfect practice, perfect fearlessness, perfect enlightenment? That is to say, this person will be born during the time of a Buddha to a noble family of proper faith, endowed with the 32 hallmarks, replete with blessings, wisdom, and awe-inspiring virtues, and will realize awakening of his own accord. It looks like this person has the potential to be a great Dharma protector in Buddhism. Who does this remind us of? Doesn't this person resemble the wheel-turning king? So the leader in wisdom, Bodhisattva, inquired about how a Bodhisattva can cultivate to attain such great blessings and rewards. Manjushri replied, practice these 141 vows. Let's take a look at the Bodhisattva's vows. For instance, when I serve my parents in filial piety, I vow that sentient beings will serve the Buddhas skillfully and protect and nurture everything. When I see a multitude assembled, I vow that sentient beings will proclaim the profound Dharma and be harmonious with all. When I see a king, I vow that sentient beings will become Dharma kings and forever propagate the proper Dharma. Next, let's understand the fundamental retribution. Functional retribution means that the results from a person's hard work can be seen plainly. For example, when a farmer works the land in the spring, they expect to reap the fruits in the fall. Similarly, when a sculptor carves a block, he can envision his finished masterpiece. When an architect drafts the design of a site, he will eventually bring the design to life. So, functional retribution means a person will immediately see the corresponding consequences to his actions. Here is an example of wholesome functional retribution from being filial and supportive towards one's parents and respectful to one's teachers and elders. A person who supports their parents will find harmony at home, and a person who honors their teachers will gain respect and friendship at work and at school. This is a direct result of our actions. As for unwholesome functional retribution, when we owe someone money, we will definitely be asked to settle our loans. There's no need to wait until the next life. We can't avoid being contacted by our debt collectors in this life. Back to the Pure Conduct chapter, the patriarch categorized 4 parts of the question as functional retribution. How does a bodhisattva attain excellent wisdom? Foremost wisdom, most superior wisdom. And What kind of rewards will a bodhisattva receive after practicing pure conduct and applying these 141 vows in their daily life? First of all, the bodhisattva will attain extraordinary wisdom. How does he attain the power of causes? The power of zeal, the power of expedience, the power of conditions, the power of which is conditioned, the power of his faculties, the power of investigation, the power of shamatha, the power of vipassana, the power of reflection. What are these powers? We always lament over our inability to apply ourselves to cultivation, saying, I don't have that motivation to execute my resolve. Let's consider the Pure Land Dharma as an example. What are the criteria for rebirth in the Western Pure Land? How do we obtain the power of this positive cause? Sutra on the Visualization of the Buddha of Immeasurable Life says, we need three kinds of blessings in order to be reborn in the Pure Land. The first blessing is to be filial to one's parents, to respectfully serve one's teachers and elders, to be kind-hearted, to refrain from killing, and to cultivate the 10 wholesome deeds. The second blessing is to take the 3 refuges, observe the complete precepts, and abide by the rules of deportation. The third blessing is to make the Bodhi resolve, deeply believe in cause and effect, read and recite Mahayana sutras, and encourage others to cultivate. These are the right causes of pure karma practiced by the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. If we study these 141 vows in the Pure Conduct chapter, we will notice that they encompass every single aspect of the 3 blessings of the pure karma. For instance, as I lift up my foot, I vow that sentient beings will leave the sea of birth and death and perfect all wholesome dharmas. When I visit senior or junior teachers, I vow that sentient beings will skillfully serve their teachers and elders and practice wholesome dharmas. In taking refuge with the Buddha, I vow that sentient beings will perpetuate the Buddha's lineage and bring forth the unsurpassed result. If we study these 141 vows in the Pure Conduct chapter, we will notice that they encompass every aspect of the 3 blessings of pure karma. By practicing these vows, we not only solidify our cultivation of the 3 blessings, but also strengthen our commitment in the Pure Land Dharma door, deepen our connection to it, develop our roots of goodness, improve our skills in meditation and contemplation, and increase our mind power. When the mind is weak, we will be vulnerable to afflictions and unable to master the Dharma practice. We are prone to doubts and constantly switching from one Dharma door to another. The last part, third part, how does he attain skillfulness with the skandhas, skillfulness with the realms, with the places, with arisal of condition, skillfulness with desire realm, skillfulness with the form realm, skillfulness with the formless realm, skillfulness in the past, present, and future? This part talks about developing skillful wisdom through the 6 senses faculties, 6 sense objects, 18 sense realms, and all dimensions of time and space. We have often heard about the importance of skillfully transforming mundane tasks into the Buddha work. The sutra text in the Pure Conduct chapter teaches us how to skillfully transform mundane tasks into Buddhist practices. For example, someone once asked Master Hua, should I isolate myself in my room and recite the Buddha's name, or should I integrate the study of the Buddha's teachings in my daily life? Master Hua replied, assimilate the practice into your daily life. If you still lose your temper easily, then it is useless no matter how many times you recite the Buddha's name. You still can't gain rebirth in the Eastern Pure Land or the Western Pure Land because there's a karma pulling you away. According to this text, practicing the Pure Conduct chapter helps us maintain a delicate balance between emptiness and existence. It enables us to strike a balance between our daily life and our cultivation. In essence, it embodies the principle of the harmony of light and dust. It helps us maintain our Dharma selecting eyes. How does a Bodhisattva skillfully cultivate the enlightenment factor of mindfulness, the enlightenment factor of selecting a Dharma? In summary, when we practice the Dharma door of pure conduct, commit these 141 vows to memory and apply them to our daily living, we can receive supreme benefits in this life. This is akin to a farmer reaping a bountiful harvest from their land, or a merchant reaping the rewards of their goods. These tangible rewards are within our reach in our present life. The patriarch placed the 4 paragraphs above under the category of functional retribution. By following these 141 vows, we can progressively develop these abilities in our current life without having to wait until the next life, as we will eventually see the results. Next, let's understand dependent retribution. In simple terms, our actions in the past create a shared setting where we experience the retribution of our deeds. For example, if we were stingy, if we robbed and stole from others, if we were greedy, or if we were disrespectful of the 3 jewels in our past lives, then we will definitely experience poverty and disrespect and misfortune in this life. If in this life we practice the 10 good deeds such as giving, upholding precepts, and being patient and humble, then the collective karma and external circumstances that we encounter in the next life will certainly be auspicious and favorable. Let's look at the sutra text. How does a bodhisattva attain the protection, veneration, and offerings of helping kings, dragon kings, yaksha kings, Gandharva kings, Asura kings, Garunda kings, Kinnara kings, Maharaga kings, human kings, and Brahma kings? The patriarch categorized this section as dependent retribution. This implies that by diligently practicing the Dharma door of pure conduct, we can receive the protection and blessings of gods and dragons, and everything in our life will be auspicious and all of our wishes will be fulfilled. Next is corresponding retribution. It's like an uninterrupted continuous flow of water. It is divided into action and feeling. Corresponding actions means in this life, you continue to enjoy doing things that you loved in your past life. Another form is called corresponding feelings. For instance, if you harm someone by inflicting pain or taking their life, you will often be sick and your lifespan will be short in your next life. That's corresponding feelings. In the context of corresponding actions, if someone liked hunting and killing in their past life, they will be naturally inclined towards committing such actions in this life when faced with similar situations. In the context of corresponding feelings, since he inflicted fear and suffering upon others in the past, he is now haunted by the corresponding sense of pain, allergic reaction, irritability, and fear in this life. Now let's take a look at the um, on the corresponding actions on positive. If a person enjoyed making offerings to the three jewels and was always respectful of others in his previous life, then as a corresponding action in this life, he will feel compelled to visit temples and make offerings to the three jewels and treat others with kindness. And he also experiences the corresponding feelings of being highly regarded, praised, bearing no grudges, and having a compassionate and pure heart. Yeah, so let's take a look at sutra text. How does one become the reliance, the refuge, the torch, the light, a guide, an excellent guide for all the beings? How does one become the foremost, the superior among all sentient beings? How this means a bodhisattva who practices pure conduct will naturally become the guiding teacher for living beings, leader of the assembly, and someone to be relied upon as the corresponding retribution in action and feeling. Lastly, let's look at the liberation retribution. This refers to breaking free from the chains of suffering. The core concept of this theory of cause and effect is to showcase two contrasting paths in life. One entails the perpetual cycle of life and death, resulting from unwholesome deeds, while the other revolves around the culmination of wholesome deeds, leading to the attainment of nirvana. By performing acts of goodness, we can pave our way towards the path of nirvana. So we should not underestimate the importance of doing good deeds, having positive thoughts, and sending out well wishes. So how does a bodhisattva attain the perfection of dana paramita, shila paramita, shanti paramita, virya paramita, dhyana paramita, prajna paramita, and also the perfection of kindness, compassion, joy, and giving? This paragraph mentions the six paramitas and four infinite states of mind. These represent a state of mind that may seem unattainable to us, but they can be realized through the diligent practice of pure conduct Dharma door by a bodhisattva. The second part. How does he attain the wisdom power to distinguish principle from non-simple? The wisdom power to know the retributions for karma created in the past, present, and future. The wisdom power to know the various realms of sentient beings. The wisdom power to know previous life. The wisdom power of the unobstructed heavenly eye. The bodhisattva who diligently practices the Dharma door of pure conduct can see the many states of minds of living beings. He can see into their past, present, and future, whether their roots are wholesome or unwholesome, and can understand their past lives through the power of his heavenly eye. In this passage, we can see that by practicing the pure conduct, this bodhisattva is capable of attaining the five eyes: physical eye, heavenly eye, wisdom eye, Dharma eye, and Buddha eye. For example, the first vow, a bodhisattva of the lay life should vow that sentient beings will realize the empty nature of the household and avoid oppression from it. I remember a Dharma master once shared that when she made the initial resolve to live permanently in the monastery, her family objected to it. Then a good, wise friend taught her to recite this verse to her vow. So she constantly repeated this verse in her mind. A Buddha of the lay life should vow that sentient beings will realize the empty nature of the household and avoid oppression from it. Sure enough, her family came to a gradual understanding and supported her decision. She was granted the opportunity to stay at the temple and eventually join the monastic. As far as I know, this Dharma master monastic's journey has been very smooth. We might overlook her other good roots and favorable causes and conditions. Let's focus only on this verse, which she truly practiced. She attributed her family support of her monastic pursuit to this verse. For instance, during the ceremonies such as 3 refuges and 5 precepts, and the Bodhisattva precepts, one of the most common questions we hear is how to avoid breaking the precept against killing in their daily lives, including accidentally stepping on ants or injuring insects. The preceptors usually teach lay people to recite this verse. As I lift up my foot, I vow that sentient beings will leave the sea of birth and death and perfect all wholesome dharmas. Or this verse, from early morning till fall of night, all living beings should look after themselves. Should you lose your life beneath my feet, I vow that you will be reborn immediately in the land of ultimate bliss of Amitabha. I believe many people feel disappointed when they hear this answer. That's all? So today we studied 10 paragraphs of how does and gained insight into the immense power of these vows. Don't belittle the power of these verses and don't underrate this Dharma practice. The Pure Conduct chapter is a challenge to practice in our everyday life. It is a very difficult chapter to cultivate. These are the sincere and true teachings of the Buddha and are extremely difficult to practice without undergoing the long process of training, assimilation, cultivation, and elimination of karmic obstacles first. Moreover, we ordinary people who are new to this Dharma door will find it particularly difficult to apply during arduous times. Furthermore, we are under the influence of our deeply ingrained habits, making it hard to change our way of thinking. Now, the Daily Dhyana Essentials is a collection of precepts compiled by Vinaya Master Duty from Baohua Mountain. The master selected verses from the Pure Conduct chapter in the Avatamsaka Sutra, as well as mantras and verses from the esoteric school. He singled out 53 important verses as rules for monastics to observe in their daily life. These verses are meant to be recited by monastics as part of their daily routines, acting as a reminder to them when they put on their clothes, eat, sit, lie down, etc. These precepts are applicable to both lay people and monastics. They are also a prerequisite for the full monastic precepts. The patriarch placed great importance on this Dharma practice out of compassion for us, worrying that we might miss out on the full benefit of the Dharma. Master Hua said, the Avatamsaka Sutra represents the deepest and most marvelous part of the Buddha's treasures. The Pure Conduct chapter that we are currently studying acts as a stark contrast to the defiled conduct. We have been seeing and hearing defiled Dharma instead of pure Dharma in the life after life since the beginningless past, and defiled Dharma leads to defiled conduct. Now that we have developed deep faith in the Buddha's teaching and want to cultivate accordingly, We should gradually clean our past habits, followed by the practice in the chapter of pure conduct, and our bad habits will diminish day by day. That's called purifying our conduct. Master Hua said, all you wise bodhisattvas who make vows in accordance with the Pure Conduct chapter will be able to attain extraordinary and inconceivable merit and virtues. Your Dharma body and wisdom life will flourish, and you will quickly realize the unsurpassed, proper, and equal right enlightenment. If you can attain these merits, you rise beyond all the Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas. Those of the two vehicles will not be able to influence you or sway your samadhi, because your samadhi power surpasses theirs. They cannot control you or understand your state. As the saying goes, the first ground is not aware of the second ground, and the 10th ground is not aware of the ground of the equal enlightenment. You have reached a higher stage than those of the two vehicles. Because now you have become a bodhisattva, their power samadhi is definitely much lower than yours. Lastly, let's share the worthy leader bodhisattva story. Next week, we will learn about the chapter of the worthy leader. So, the worthy leader Bodhisattva dedicated himself to studying the Avatamsaka Sutra and managed to memorize the Pure Conduct chapter successfully. However, during that time, there was no Bodhisattva masters in China. Because of this, worthy leader Bodhisattva wanted to learn the Bodhisattva precepts from an Indian monk. The Indian monk responded, the Avatamsaka Sutra is a precious storehouse of profound secrets of the teachings passed down from the Buddhas. Encountering it is an extremely rare opportunity, and comprehending it profound meaning is even rarer. If one is able to memorize the Pure Conduct chapter, they have already accomplished the practice of the Bodhisattva precepts and do not need to seek the Bodhisattva precepts elsewhere. So, for this week's homework, we've understood the causes and effects of the Pure Conduct chapter. The homework is let's focus on the memorizing a few verses that we believe can truly help us in various situations. Let's do this exercise to see if it really helps us both physically and mentally. So that's the homework for this week. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening. Our discussion on this chapter ends today. Let's put our palms together and dedicate the merit.
愿以此功德，言佛净土，上报四重恩，下济三途苦。若有见闻者，悉发菩提心，尽此一报身，同生极乐国。顶礼老和尚，阿弥陀佛。